Hello and welcome all of you on 18th of March 2021. It is Global Recycling Day, and all of us are used to remembering birthdays and wedding anniversaries. But how many of us really knew that 18th of March is celebrated as the World Recycling Day, and that there was a theme for this day, which was recycling heroes? So I think this is how India is. Unless and until you celebrate or do on the occasion of a particular day, it doesn't register well. And that's exactly what I have tried to do on behalf of We Engage Global Foundation today. That I'm going to try and touch on these pertinent questions about recycling, which we have heard for so many years now. And all of us know of so many treaties that have been signed over a decade by the heads of the countries. The latest one that all of us know about is the Paris Agreement. How many of us know what was signed? What all did we really agree to? And what was discussed as far as recycling was concerned in that agreement? Not many of us do. So, this is what is lacking: engagement. The citizens of this country have to engage with all such agreements. They have to try and understand what has been agreed to and what is the role that each one of us can really play to really call oneself eco-friendly, and kind of say that I'm going green, and then wear those t-shirts with that recycling symbol saying reduce, reuse, recycle. So all of us have registered that symbol, but we've really not been able to uh, absorb what it really means, and that one has to earn it if you want to wear such a t-shirt, or you want to say that you understand the meaning of all these 3 hours, 5 hours. We have so many hours now. So to discuss and answer some of these questions, we have with us the founder of Kachre Se Azadi, uh, Dr. Sunit Dapke, with us today. And he is, what I have seen is, he is in the true sense of the word a Swachhagrahi of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. And he has been a change agent for over a decade now. And only recently in 2016, he formed this foundation, Kachre Se Azadi. And we are going to understand the answers to some of these pertinent questions that I spoke about from him. I'd like Dr. Sunit Dapke to, first of all, let us know what led to the formation of Kachre Se Azadi.
Thanks a lot, Funny. It's a very good initiative you have taken, and I wish that you take such good milestones, or you can take such good steps, which are very pertinent and important for the community to understand that, what we mean by celebration. So the base was very good and clear, and telling you about Qatar Azadi, my parent company is Concept Biotech, and we are basically into industrial waste treatment. And as you know that a lot many laws, a lot many rules have changed, and there have been amendments and everything, but still we find a lot of industrial waste also going to landfill site. But that's a different story. But I wanted to see that at least where I stay, where I live, that should be a better place to live. That is the reason. When I was celebrating, one of the days, like 15th August is the Independence Day of India. So when I was celebrating this on 2014, I realized that I'm something missing. Why we are celebrating independence? Yes, because we got freedom from British.
Yeah.
But are we free? That is the biggest question. We are not free. So we are still slaves to the kachra. You don't have any option, because you are what Britishers were doing to India, to the Indian community, the kachra is doing to us. So again, there is no freedom from kachra. So suddenly, it stuck in my mind that I should take up, as I'm passionate, I should take up some responsibility. And this is the Kachra Se Azadi, as a project was started in 2016. But we have registered as a foundation only this year. But yes, the whole concept the baby and the everything about the Katrasada River. It was started in 2016.
Right. So, Dr. Dapke, when we think of this term recycling, a lot of people would recall a lot of things, but what are those few things that pop up when I say recycling to you?
It's a very important question. First of all, you know, people know that we are selling something to the Kavadia wala since years. This is the one question which also it arises in my mind. Like when I was really trying to educate my daughter, like this is your pocket money. So whatever I said, the cupboard in my house, like whatever the newspaper or whatever the cardboard which is going, the gentleman is going to buy from us, it is a cupboard for us, but it is a resource for us. So she asked me a question, what is the why we are selling. So the thing is that the recycling concept really started coming in my mind in real sense, that yes, this paper is going to get converted and again going to come in a new form. So again we are going to recycle and bring it to the community. So the whole the concept or the I can say the very good book which our president Abdul Kalam has written, igniting the young minds. So this is the thing which I can say with this, that yes, we have to ignite, कुछ बत्ती जलानी है बच्चों में, ताकि वो जान सके कि रिसाइकलिंग यहाँ से शुरू शुरू होता है. So that is the thing. You start about paper, pasti, and the tin and everything. So I could realize that this is a very good concept which which we have to implement it, and that is our survival.
True. So I was actually going through some of the statistics on Google, and it still shows that India's recycling index is at 5%, and in so many Scandinavian countries, it is 90%. And that just because Indians contaminate their waste is why they have to, now the recyclers have to continue with their business, and therefore they import, waste, recyclable waste from other countries. And I think you are also into kitchen waste composting, garden waste, industrial sludge. So no one better than you can understand how Indians are, not, I mean, they are contaminating their own waste by mixing up everything. And such a project is never going to be born if we continue this habit. So, what do you have to say about this Indian typical mindset of not understanding that they should not mix waste? Means they should not. So, what do you have to say about this mindset? Because I'm sure in 4 years you had many experiences.
Very frankly speaking, the the good, the bad thing which we don't understand, that we still call it a waste when it is a resource. That everybody knows. I think in every what you call curriculum, the school curriculum, starting from the sixth standard, they start learning about environment. They start learning about composting. They start learning about earthworms. They know everything about, yes, this is the thing, how soil is formed, how humus is formed. We know that how leaf litter in forest is like converting into a very good humus rich soil. But still the attitude says that we don't want to believe it. We know that we know, if you just try to go and speak to them in a local language and see that if you try to pinch them and poke them and see that, they say that yes, ये तो हम करते थे. मैं जब प्लास्टिक नहीं था तो हम क्या करते थे, वो तो मेरे दादाजी ऐसा खड्डा खोद के उसके अंदर डाल देते थे और बहुत अच्छी खाद बन जाती थी. So when there was no plastic, when there was so much of like open space, or when we were living into those environment, at that time we were doing composting unknowingly.
Yeah.
Unknowingly we were doing composting, but now knowingly we don't want to do it. So this is the apathy, or this is the problem which we have to now break. And this is the task Kachru Se Azadi has taken to really go into their mindset and change their mindset.
True. Right. In fact, would you like to throw some light on if one wants to start doing it today, probably after listening to us, how can they start doing the segregation and sorting at home, typically of say of households, if we talk of domestic waste, what is it that they are not doing, and what is it that they should start doing from today, if say they were not aware of it, what to do?
On a very simple thing, first of all, they should understand that whatever we are eating, whatever we are consuming, when we make or when we cook food, हम कुछ ऐसा कचरा निकालने वाले, कचरा नहीं बोल सकते अगेन, वो जो सब्जियां जो छिलके है, आवरण है, वो निकालने वाले हैं।
Hmm.
वो हम पहले, अगर अगर वो हम उसको काटते नहीं, हम उसको छीलते नहीं, तो हम खाने वाले हैं। If you are eating a fruit, then you can eat directly without your this also. But the thing is that you should know that if plastic is there, plastic we are not going to eat. We are not going to eat any type of those material which is a man-made material. So we people, हम सब जानते हैं कि ये man-made है, ये चीज खाने वाली नहीं, तो पहले उसको अलग करो। बहुत सिंपल चीज है, how I train my maid. See, ultimately, if you are there, if I was there, I started this from my side, but ultimately I have to train my maid so that she does and she takes it forward to the other house. And that is the reason I am quite successful in terms of training them. Now she also understood, like, હા સુનિલ ભાઈ, આમાં તો શું છે કે પેલું આપણો પેલું પ્લાસ્ટિક છે ને, એટલે આપણે આપણે જુદી થેલીમાં મૂકી દઈએ. So
Hmm.
now she had understood that okay, this is something. And when she knows that that टीन का कारबा जब खाली होता है हमारा, या प्लास्टिक का कारबा खाली होता है, तो वो बोलते कि ये तो भंगार वाला 10 रुपए में ले जाता है. So now when they start understanding the economics of each and every item, then it becomes easier. So first of all, tell them this is of no use to us if you're not going to make anything good at your site, at your source. Then you should try to sell it, or try to separate it from that. And that is the reason that when you separate those man-made things, then your only thing which can be composted, or which can be converted into good manure, is your kitchen waste.
So this was more about the household. Anything specific for the industrial or institutional waste that you want to share?
Again, the institutional waste, when you say that, we see that most of the institutions are generating a lot of paper waste. So paper waste and the larger packaging material, because a lot of the industries would be getting some material inside, or then sending something. So whatever the material they are getting it for processing, so they'll be generating a lot of this recyclable non-hazardous waste. Because when you talk about industrial, there is a hazardous waste, which can be the big containers, the drums, because a lot many what toxic components would be packed into that. So that comes into a different category. But in terms of the normal, the recyclable waste is, most of them, if you go and study, then it is the paper waste, and the packaging plastic material, and pens, then small diaries, and all that stuff which is coming into their kitty.
So if one wants to go and figure out where these recyclers, organized recyclers are, how do they find out? Because the most common practice has been to call the kabadiwala and dispose it off. But to ensure that we are responsibly disposing of the unwanted materials at home, how can we do it responsibly?
uh, to be frank, we have this challenge of, like, calling somebody for electronic waste, because our municipal corporation has the responsibility. And they, in each year, if you see your property tax bill, it has given, our municipal corporation has given the number, or you go to their website, Vadodara Municipal Corporation electronic waste IT cell has given a very specific number in which you have to call, and then give them an appointment, and you can give that waste. But for the rest of the things, like the paper, pasti, and all that, I would say that you empower those the kabaddi walas, so that they don't lose business, because they are also our main part of our business, and better is that we call them and give it.
Right. So I think we still don't have that better substitute to a kabaddi wala yet. In fact,
True, true,
I
100%.
have understood that a lot of policy level changes and bylaws have come into place for electronic waste. Everything is quite defined, but still at the implementation level, if there were, because I know you work with panchayats and the rural areas also. So what do you think is the lacune really? I mean, why is it still not working at the panchayat level or at the government level, though there is a will and there is a good platform like Swachh Bharat now?
See, very frankly speaking, it is not working because we don't know how to budget and how to plan. In
Mm.
municipal level also, nagar palika level, if you go through their annual report or the total budget which they're assigning, it is all haphazard. You'll not believe that when a few years back, 2016, when I started this Azadi mission, I just saw my many of them, like you will be knowing now, but many of them will not be knowing that how much Swachh Bharat mission or Swachhata tax, or how much payment we do for the solid waste management. In 2016, when I tried to see that where is the lacuna, I found in my municipal corporation bill that only 100 rupees is charged for the solid waste management. Now imagine that there you and you expect as a community, as a nagrik, we expect that कचरा वाला आना चाहिए, रोज लेके जाना चाहिए. आप 100 रुपए दे रहे हो, उसको 365 दिन से डिवाइड करो, तो कितना खर्चा होता है. इतने में तो मतलब एक चाय भी आजकल 5 रुपए में बिकती है छोटी. तो हाउ कैन यू एक्सपेक्ट दैट द म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन कैन सर्वाइव? But still, now the role of the government is to make a budget. But when you make a budget, then there are politicians who don't want that a good budget should be made for the waste management. अब स्वच्छ भारत मिशन आने के बाद भी we don't see that where actually this budget has to go, where how and where, that's a very dicey question. In panchayat, again they are gone out of case, but good part is that the CSR role has come to help them, because now under the corporate social responsibility, Swachh Bharat mission is a very very important project which they have to do. So we can say that we can try to see that we help the panchayat through that budget. But again, they are really they don't plan anything. That is the main problem.
In fact, on a lighter note, when you're talking about this budgeting and planning, I don't know how so many flyovers get the budget and the sanction, and every now and then you see one or the other flyover coming up in a city. But if similar budgets had to be allocated, uh, I mean, if 300 crores can be so immediately allocated for a flyover, in the name of a smart city mission, then they should actually be budgeting for MRFs, material recovery facilities or material recycling facilities, which I seriously don't see happening, because of which I think a lot of new ventures that might come up in the recycling space are not coming up, because they still don't see the indigenous technologies bought by the government, or put on ground for sorting, segregation. And I don't know, I think there is this whole thing going on about giving waste management industry status. And what do you think may happen if at all this whole sector of waste management receives an industry status? Will things change?
See, waste management is now really taking up very seriously. Like people are taking them very seriously, and it's a growing business. एक चीज तो जरूर ये है कहना है कि कचरा कभी कम नहीं होने वाला. So it is up to you how you stand, how you try to pitch your business, how you try to make a model. Because the most important part is that, and if you don't make your own model, then people may cheat, and that may. I don't disagree with one fact is that there are many models which are not going to work, but the thing is that but still they are being promoted. The reason is that because people don't see as an option. I have lot many difficulties understanding how an app model can can be really helpful in villages. Yeah, in city you have a lot of good recyclable waste, and there is a good collection, but ultimately it is an investor run model. But when you say about like a model which is going to help and survive on purely on a basis of a community contribution, then it is it's going to be more wise and much better. So we have to see that how best we can fit into that, and what is the area you are going to cover to make your waste management a sustainable business.
in your experience, has is it easier to manage all this in the rural areas compared to urban areas, or it's all the same?
It depends upon, let's say, rural area is more easier because you have to deal with only one sarpanch and one talati. Then
Right.
there is no more politics, and people are more, okay, once you go to there and once you're a regular visitor, they treat you, much better. But still, there are, people who may not agree to, what solution you're pitching. But in urban, there is a lot many, this thing. You start, if I come to your house and start pitching my waste management model, the first question your housing society may ask that हम तो टैक्स भर रहे हैं ना, हमारी जवाबदारी तो पूरी हो गई. So
Hmm.
from there it starts, like, people would, not say anything more because they think that, we are paying an official tax to the municipal corporation. But when you start talking about how much tax you are paying, sir, then they will say this is the property tax. But is it the property tax related to the solid waste tax? So one thing is very clear, that urban model may not work if you're not putting your own money. The society has to put, and that is the reason in solid waste management rule 16 2016 they have made compulsory to all the new infrastructure that you have to make your own system. So in many cities, they have made a compulsory that, you have to, do this, and municipal corporation has also come forward by giving some rebates. Okay, this is the rebate you get. Somebody will say that, some corporation in Pune municipal corporation, they have given 5% of property tax rebate. So there is a, model which you have to think and you have to see that workable. But village is, yes, it is doable. I would say it is a doable and reachable.
So, coming to my last two questions, one is, decentralization of waste management is what is the need of the hour, and every society these days, the chairman secretary is showing willingness to install a proper apparatus, a system. In your experience, why is it that not many societies eventually let it happen? I mean, they do call you for those initial one or two talks, and suddenly there is a there is a phase where there is nothing happening, and then eventually the conversion doesn't happen in spite of the willingness of the chairman or a secretary to spare money from their maintenance budget. So because of which this whole concept of decentralization isn't really picking up. So if you had to tell something to the societies, what would it be, and why do you think it's not still picking up the way it should?
See, there is a very big challenge, in terms of, even you install, even the society spend that much of money on the waste management. No. But the major challenge is that, we don't want to segregate the waste at source. Because if you are, installing and composting system, because when society is spending, then they are spending only for the wet waste, because there is no other spending which society can do for the dry waste. But if you are not going to give your segregated wet waste to the, sweeper for your, to the Swachhata Sevak for your composting system, then it becomes a very difficult task to run the project. So it is not only about, that society, if they spend, then they assume that, we'll be getting the segregated waste. Initially, it runs very well, because when we did one project for one of the top society, one of the rich society in Baroda, we had initial and very big teething problem of how to convince them. So ultimately, after the whole cycle of 6 months, after the cycle of 6 months, we could get that segregated waste, but it could not last for 1 year. So after 1 year again, like, there's those problems comes, like, they get tired of segregating, and that consistency in getting the segregated waste is a big challenge.
So, a lot of societies have received free dustbins also from the municipalities. But do you think that has helped even a wee bit? Has that really motivated the citizens?
No, no, it has not, because we also have, four dustbins, but ultimately, it doesn't work that way, because we are not there to monitor every day to the sweeper like what she is doing. So ultimately, people give mixed waste, and the sweeper doesn't have any say because वो तो साहब लोग हैं, and ultimately it goes as a mixed waste, and the municipal corporation guy has to take that. So it is a big challenge. Like even if you go 4 dustbins, it is going to get mixed up, and it is up to us that if we want to make a project successful, we have to participate, in a true sense.
So I think really it boils down to the municipalities not just giving dustbins to us and then claiming that they have two compartments, red and I mean blue and green in their municipal trucks. It's about catching hold of these safai walas who are coming to our societies on a daily basis, and those people who are actually working at the transit stations. They are the ones who have to be empowered and trained and incentivized or motivated so that they do not mix up the waste, because the common complaint from educated aware citizens is that now they have understood one thing, that they have to segregate at source. They have understood that these free bins have to be used for segregation, but their only complaint is that in spite of doing it, their safai wala mixes it up. By the time it reaches down, say there is it's a flat and it reaches down till the municipal truck, by the time it reaches there, their person is mixing it up. So now why should I segregate when I know that this is going to happen with my waste? So this is something which is constantly coming up as a question, and uh, there is nobody who can really answer this, not even the municipal commissioner sometimes I feel. And these unorganized people are the ones whom they have to really bring to one place and spend money on, and that true empowerment has to come there. What do you think on this? Have you heard?
See, the reason is, yeah, I've thought like, first of all, if the Swachhata Sevak, the sweeper, is from your society, you need to be very bold and clear that if I'm giving you segregated waste, you have to take it segregated. Because even if you are staying in 100, because we have done this project in Cup Parade also. So it's not only about in Baroda, but we have done such projects in other cities where we could engage them in keeping it getting or bringing down the waste in a segregated form. But the problem is that, yeah, one answer which I cannot answer now, or it is doubtful, that if the sweeper from your society brings that segregated and if it is getting mixed up with the municipal waste, if you're not having a composting facility, then that is a big challenge. That is the reason the municipal corporation or the government is saying better you start doing your own composting system, because municipal corporation doesn't have that much of land to really process so much of organic waste. So if you want to address the first question, then the first problem is about getting the segregated waste down from the top flat to the bottom flat. Then it is up to you. But if it is going from that lady or the sweeper to the municipal corporation bin and they are not doing it, then that is, you cannot do that much. But at least you can put a composting system which can help of not sending the mixed waste to the corporation landfill site.
Right. So moving on to one other form of waste which even households and especially ladies generate is the sanitary pad waste. What has been your experience with the myths that are surrounding such sanitary waste, and how its dumping is really causing soil pollution, and how are you handling it? I mean, how do you think it should be even handled, for that matter?
Uh, First of all, I would like to say that I would like to congratulate Akshay Kumar and PM Saab that the Padman movie was made. That brought a lot of awareness, and it was really good that this movie could really ignite the idea of within the rural women and other women of using pads. But frankly speaking, as a waste management expert, it is a very big threat for me, because they are not going to give me the pad in a segregated or an envelope or something like that, because or that that brown paper or some they give, or they don't give the pad itself, they mix it with the waste and dump it somewhere while going out for a walk. So the question is that if that pad is not reaching to us, and more than that, the bigger question is the pad is having so much of plastic lining that it doesn't allow us to really process it. But there are many options in an urban sector. There are many options which are having eco-friendly pads. There are pads made of aloe vera. There are pads made of banana fiber. There are pads made of bamboo. There are reusable pads also, like cotton, special cotton reusable pads. How many ladies know about this? I think there are cups also. How many people, how many ladies use those cups? To then bantons are there. So many other things are there, so that this waste is reduced. So one thing, one good part ladies can do is that they can explore which are the eco-friendly options for the pads, so that much of pads doesn't go as waste and it becomes an hazard and really big challenge for us to process that.
Yeah, true. Um, so when you were installing your project in Gram Panchayats, and if an NGO or a lady wants to take up on an individual basis, as a CSR project, or she has received some donation and wants to install a project in the rural areas with the help of the Gram Panchayat, how can she or he go about?
See, first of all, like selecting the village is the biggest important thing, because if you are going to select a village for the sake of selecting, then that doesn't it is not going to work. Example is that you are a corporate and you are a donor, or you are sensitive to this and you want to do a project with my organization Katra Sahazari Foundation. So we first go and select the village by talking to the sarpanch and the talati. Do you want this system? Are you with me? That is the biggest question we have to put to them. And they said, yes sir, we want to do this, and we take a written commitment from them that they will give us land, water, electricity, and the cooperation to install the system. And then once that is there, then we go to the funder or the sponsor or the CSR donor, and say that sir, this is a good project and we can do this way, and then we start the project. Again, before starting, before doing anything, we first go house to house, do a very good genuine awareness, tell them that this is a system for you. It is not a system for me. You are going to stay here. It is a system for you, and the cleanliness is in your hand. Though somebody is spending, and if you're not going to worry for that, then it is going to be a very big disaster. And that makes some difference. Initially, they think that we are going to come and go, but when they see that we are there for the whole year and putting our whole allergy, talking to them, making falia committees, taking the segregated waste and then processing, that really builds that rapport. And when that rapport is built, even we go out of that village, 70% of the village does the job, but you cannot guarantee about the 100%.
So there pops another question there, that who will do the collection in that village, and whoever is decided for collection, who pays them for it?
It is normally the gram panchayat does the payment. We train the and they also select the laborers, because because they are the local people. They know which are the good people, and the training and the responsibility of getting the work done is our job. Motivation is from our side.
Okay, right. Right. So on Global Recycling Day, to end on a very positive note, is there something that you want to really pass on as a message to the government bodies, or the way Swachh Bharat is going ahead? Anything that should happen at the policy level, at the politicians level, and at the household level?
One good message I would not like to give to government or something like that, but I would like to give to all the community members, that please don't think everything is waste for you. For on 18th March, at my Katra Sahazari store, we have arranged to accept whatever waste you have, we bring it to our store, and we will give you fresh organic vegetables. So we are trying to experiment a barter system, and if that works out, then we will be purely into taking the waste, whatever they think as a waste. I am not asking for a paper pasti, putha, which is going to get sold and you will get some whatever thing which you feel that it is of no use to you, and that is the thing which you can give it. You bring it to us so that we can show you that what is the power of recycling, and that is the reason we are there, to help them, to educate them, and to motivate them, so that recycling can be the core area. And once this is successful, I think once the project gets rolled out, automatically the government realizes, and then it can move.
So, on this note, I'd like to thank Dr. Sunit Dapke for sparing his precious time with us and talking on the occasion of Global Recycling Day 2021. And I hope we can celebrate all the recycling heroes that India has in every corner of this country. And Frankly speaking, the way the population index is rising, our consumption index is also rising accordingly, and the waste index is of course rising. But what is not rising is a recycling index which is at par with the waste index. And that is one pressing question that each one of us needs to introspect. And I personally feel that if we simply do one thing, which is not mixing up waste, we are really helping recyclers. you know so my title, which is recycling corona is the new normal, I would say to all the audiences listening to me today that recycling karne mein madad karo na. Seriously, that is the new normal, and all of us have understood the importance of uh, how waste is causing all sorts of pollution, whether it is air, soil, water pollution. And the only thing every household really needs to do is uh, do their own bit of simply segregating waste. Put all your biodegradables into your green bin, and if you have any medical rejects or diapers, please put it in a red bin. All your dry waste, which is the rest of the waste, which is your paper board or the food wrappers, grocery items, whatever you bring it in, all those plastic bags and glass, metals, let it go into the blue bin for the moment, and ensure that your safai wala who comes to pick it up segregates this and keeps it so that uska chai pani ka nikal jaye ek din ka. Just because you segregate, you're actually helping the lifestyle or rather livelihood of so many people. One of them being your safai wala. He's going to sell all that and get some money out of it. Then when this waste will reach transit stations or inter transit stations before it reaches a dump site, there are people, rack pickers, people you see who haven't taken a bath for days. They actually sell this to the recyclers, and they get some money for their livelihood. And the last people you're really touching is the people who live around dump sites or landfill sites. They actually do the last level rack picking of all the plastics or the metals, glass, all the other types of waste, aluminium, electronic waste that is dumped, and they sell that, and that's how their livelihood really runs. So there are four levels of people who will get their livelihood if you just did one thing, which is segregation at source. So, on this note, thank you all for joining me today, and I really hope that our recycling index will go on a upward curve if discussions like these, awareness of this sort increases. And let's put up numbers in our phone book so that we can call up different recyclers, and they are just a call away from us. And I will be looking forward to any questions or comments that you have based on this session that we had with Dr. Sunit Dapke. Thank you so much, Dr. Dapke, once again, and bye.